As of now, you have an understanding of how to start the conversations with your prospect, your ideal client, your leads, and how to build that initial rapport and keep the conversation going, right? And also, you have some knowledge of the two types of calls that we have discussed, the triage call and the strategic call or the strategy session, right? Now it's time to dive into making the set attempts, the art of set attempts, the different types of set attempts and how to implement these we are going to see in this lesson. Okay, so I'll repeat again, what are the set attempts? As we discussed in the lesson number 1 of this module, a set attempt is an act of reaching out to a prospective client and attempting to set an appointment. Simple, right? Set attempts are one of the most important metrics that you can pay attention to, because the more set attempts you make, the more strategy sessions you book, the more calls you book, the more sales you will make, right? Okay, so let's see. So here we are talking about this aspect of the high impact appointment setting mastery framework. This is about making a set attempt to book a call. And here we are in the triage way. So these are the two tips where we are inviting people either on the triage call to gather some information about them and make sure that we are actually talking or booking a strategy call with our ideal client. By for now, you are having conversations with them, building some rapport, right? And engaging time to time and having some conversations. And if you are confirmed that he or she is your ideal client and they need your help, you can directly invite them to the strategy session. So we are just inviting them to either a triage call or either a direct strategy session, which will be a sales call where you pitch your offer, right? So this is the triage way. This is the way you directly jump without wasting weeks, months on a single client or a single prospect, chatting with them, DMing with them, asking the tons of questions. Okay. After the 4-step DM mastery, we jump to invite them on a triage call or we invite them to the strategy session. Once they jump on with you on a triage call, and then on the triage call, you make an attempt to book a strategy session. As simple as that. Once if they are qualified. This is the way which works best for me and works fast for me and my ideal clients, right? So now we are going to jump into the set attempts things. These part of the journey we are going to see here. How to invite them on the triage call and how to invite them on the strategy call, when to invite them on which type of call, that also we are going to see. So starting with the set attempts, we are going to see the types of set attempts first. Now there are 3 types of set attempts. As you are aware that there are 3 types of leads: cold lead, warm lead, and hot leads. Similarly, there are 3 types of set attempts. You have to recognize where your prospect is into your funnel. First is the cold set attempt. Now here, you offer a direct call to a prospect who doesn't know you and whom you don't know either. So basically, you are making an attempt to book a call with a cold lead, right? Second one is the warm set attempt, where you offer a call to a prospect who know you and you are building some rapport, you are building relationship, you are engaging with them time to time. These prospects are your warm leads, okay? And the third type is hot set attempt, where you offer a call to those who are interested in your offer and you are 100% sure that they are your ideal client and you can help them. These are your hottest leads. Okay, so let's dive deep into each one of these so you know how and when to make these kind of set attempts. Okay, starting with the cold set attempt. Okay, now this is when you offer a call to the prospect who doesn't know you and whom you don't know either. Okay, so in this type of attempt, you are just taking a guess whether they are an ideal client or not. This set attempt has a comically low success rate. You already know that. You have been annoyed with getting cold pitches in your DMs, right? Then you are familiar with this approach. The interaction is initiated without any established relationship or previous contact with that prospect. I prefer don't do this. Don't do this for booking calls. It doesn't work. It just annoys people. It will make them less likely to connect or become your client because there is no pre-existing connection. The challenge is to capture the prospect's interest and establish a rapport quickly. So it's better to send them a friend request and build rapport in the DMs first to make them warm leads. Then you can make the set attempts. Okay. So I prefer that this has the low success rate and it doesn't work annoying people randomly. So skip this to make set attempts to cold leads. Just if you find any cold lead, just go through the process, make them warm, build some rapport, and then make a warm set attempt. So let's make that warm set attempt. Now, what are the warm set attempts? These are your warm leads. They are your content engagers. They are engaging with your content. You are engaging with their content. They are story responders, story poll voters, story watchers. The stories you post on Instagram or Facebook, they are watching your stories. They are responding to the questions. They are responding to the poll. They are voting the poll that you are posted on your stories, right? They replied on your two-step post. Whatever you are giving for free, a lead magnet or something else, they are replied to that post. Or your new friend request that you get, or the new friend request that we have sent and they have accepted, or your Facebook group members. These are all your warm leads. That means that you have been building a rapport with a prospect and then transitioning the conversations into asking them for a call. Then you'll have a much higher success rate. Number one, because you've gotten to know them. You already know they have a problem you can help them solve. Secondly, because you have built enough rapport that you are confident in making the ask. They are much likely more to say yes to jump on a call with you, right? Now, this should be the set attempt you use the most. But again, we have two types of call to book. And the question is which call to book while making this warm set attempt. Whether you use this type to book a triage call or strategy session depends on the level of rapport and the level of information you have gathered in the DMs. So if you have built somewhat rapport, a bit of rapport, but you are not sure yet if they are your ideal client, then you can book a triage call and gather some information first. But if you have built enough rapport and you are satisfied with that and gathered much information about the ideal client or the prospect in the DMs, and you are sure that they are your 100% ideal client, then you can directly book a strategy session or a sales call and pitch your offer at the end of that call. As simple as that. Okay, so let's see how you can do this part. So here is an example. I assume that you have some knowledge about the two types of calls that we are going to book, right? So here's when to book the triage call. So we are going to see the examples of making a warm set attempt to book the triage call. Okay, so first we are going into the triage call, then we are going to the strategy session. So someone is your warm lead, engaging with your content, responding to the stories, answering to the two-step post, your Facebook group member. These are your warm leads. Now you're booking the triage call with them. So when to book the triage call with these type of warm leads? So if you have managed to build a bit of rapport, but you are not quite sure whether they are your ideal client, then the best route is to attempt to book a triage call. So here are two examples of what that language would look like. So if you can say example, hey, mention their name. You can say, I am super turbo loving the energy you are bringing to your business. So I wanted to reach out and see if you'd like to connect sometime next week for a quick call to see how we might be able to support each other. So sweet and so simple is it, right? Hey, been a while since we chatted. So I wanted to see if you have time to connect next week to learn a bit more about what you are doing and explore ways we might be able to support each other. Now, if you see, the language here is fairly soft and sweet and doesn't sound that there is a pitch coming or you're going to offer them something, because you're literally not, right? Because remember that the triage call never ends with a pitch or an offer. That is reserved for just a strategy session. If you're worried about the set attempt that people may think you are trying them to get on a sales call, then you can even, end the message with something like, I promise I've got nothing to pitch you, or it's not a sales call, I promise. You can say something like that after sending the message. And if you do choose to promise these kind of stuff in your set attempts, then be sure not to pitch your prospect during the triage call. As simple as that. Okay. Again, we are going to see in the triage call, the framework is different. In triage call, what types of conversations you are going to have, what type of question you are going to ask them. Okay. That's a different part. But first, we are trying to make an attempt to book a call. Just our priority is to jump with the prospect on a call. That gives a personal touch. That makes them to trust you more, believe you more. So we are trying to book the call at first attempt, right? So this was the warm set attempt to book a triage call. Now let's see warm set attempt to book the strategy call. Okay. Now here, when to book the strategy session. Now, if you have built a bit more rapport, enough rapport, and had enough conversations to know that they are almost certainly your ideal client, now the best way is to try to book the strategy session, jump on the direct sales call. Now, also keep in mind that it's a larger time commitment for your prospect, which means that it's important to be clear that they are get value out of it in return of taking time to speak with you on that call. All right. And because it's a larger time commitment for you as well, make sure that you have a good idea that they are indeed your ideal client. As simple as that. Don't waste time on all the leads, booking the strategist, booking the sales call. First, gather some information. Make sure they are 100% your ideal client. Then book the strategist or a sales call. Okay. So here are the couple of examples how you can approach this. Okay. So you can say, hey, Mark, I've really been enjoying the client success stories that you have been posting. I wanted to check in to see if attracting more clients is priority for you. If so, I would love to set up a time to chat and learn a bit more about your business and see if you can pick apart what you could be doing to make that happen. Is that something you would be interested in? Does that sound like a pitch? Yes, the conversation is salesy now because you are booking a strategy session or a sales call, but it does not sound like you're pitching or aggressive or a salesy person, right? The second example, hey, maybe Kevin, I've been loving your content. Your post about your physical fitness journey was super inspiring. I really appreciated how you highlighted that and don't have to spend hours in the gym every day to be fit and healthy. I wanted to send you a quick message to see if attracting more clients is a priority for you right now. Because if so, I'd love to set up a time to chat, to learn a bit more about your business and see if I can help. And if it's not, I'd still love to set up a time to chat because I am really loving your stuff and would love to connect either way. How simple is it? So when setting a strategy session, as I said, the language is more explicitly sales oriented. It clearly defines that the purpose of the call is to learn more about them and their situation, their business, then to see if you can help. So when you are clear that the objective of the call is to see whether they are a good fit for you and your program, you ultimately book strategies with higher quality prospects who are much likelier to end up working with you, end up enrolling with you, right? So make sure you are booking the strategician and sales call with the perfect ideal client, the right ideal client, and the aligned ideal client. When you are 100% sure that they are your ideal client, then you are going to make these attempts. Okay. Then moving on to the hot set attempt. Now, what is hot set attempt? Now, this is by far the easiest way because it requires the least effort on your part. That's because it's when someone explicitly says either in the DMs or anywhere that they are interested in learning more about what you do and whether you can help them. These are your hottest leads. The one who raised hands in your offer post or mission post, one who expressed interest in your promotion post or acquisition post, one who commented on the CTA, the keyword CTA that you give in below the post, or one who directly DM'd you asking about your offer, your program, your business. Now, these people are already interested. And since the prospect has already shown interest, the likelihood of a successful set attempt is generally higher compared to the cold and the warm leads. In this case, it's simple, get them on the calendar. Just book that call. But you need to remember that you want to book strategicians only with the ideal clients. Therefore, now you have two options. When you receive a hot inbound lead asking about you and your offer in the comment section or the DMs who wants to talk with you, then you have two options. The number one option is to book a triage call with them. The first is simply to book a triage call with them. You can respond them with something like, sounds great. Why don't we set up a quick 15 minutes connection call to get to know each other? So you're asking them to get on a 15 minutes call to getting to know each other. Okay. Then if it's a good fit, we can chat about what it would like to work together. Right. Now, the advantage of taking this approach rather than jumping on to booking a 45 minute or 60 minutes strategy session is that you have the opportunity to make sure that they are your ideal client before committing to a longer conversation. Okay. Otherwise, if you jump on a sales call or strategy session directly, it will be waste of at least 60 to 90 minutes of your time because they might ask some get some free advice, free stuff only. They might be not committed. They may not be willing to change. They may not be willing to invest, right? So you have to make sure that things in the triage call itself. Then you can book a longer 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes sales conversations with them, right? Then the second option is to ask some few qualifying questions in the DMs before booking a strategy session, right? So either you can book a triage call and get to know each other, or you can start just DMing them and asking some qualifying questions. Then you can jump onto booking the strategy session. Now, this will allow you to gather some information that you would normally get during a triage call. Just now you are getting it in the DMs. Now you can respond with something like simple thing. You can DM them, thank you so much for showing interest. I'd love to chat exactly what are you interested in working on in your life, whether it's business, whether it's mindfulness or health or fitness, etc. So the purpose is to make sure that they understand what you do and that they are not looking for a weight loss coach when you are really doing something else. Okay, then depending on their answer, you can respond with a follow-up question that helps you qualify them. You can say something like, I can definitely help with that. How long you have been doing with that? Or you can say, what have you tried in the past? So questions will give you an idea whether they are your perfect ideal client or not. Okay, so it's best to only ask a few of these qualifying questions, but once you have a pretty good understanding or a good idea that they are your ideal client, you are all set to book a strategy session with them. Okay, so you understand there are three types of set attempts: cold, warm, and hot. Set attempts, these are just the messages you send to the prospect who you have engaged, who have built a rapport, some amount of rapport in the DMs, and asking for them to jump on a call. This is called just the set attempt, making an attempt to book a call with your ideal client, your prospect. Simple as that. Okay. Now, so you understand the three types of set attempts: cold, hot, and warm. Cold, don't do that. It will annoy people. It will be spam. Warm, those who are engaging with your content, you are engaging with their content. Okay, who responds to your story, who watches your content, who watches your stories, who replies to any kind of a post, who are your Facebook group members. These are your warm people. You either book a triage call first, make sure they are your ideal client, then jump onto the strategy session where you pitch your offer at the end. Then third one is the hot set attempt. They come to you asking about your offer, your business, all those things. There are two options. First option is to book a triage call and get some information and identify if they are your perfect ideal client or not. Otherwise, you can just chat with them into the DMs and ask them for qualified questions and then book a strategy session directly if they are a perfect fit, right? So these are three types of set attempts. Now, when to make these set attempts? Now, you might have this question, right? When to make that set attempts? How much rapport is enough rapport? How long should you want to make an attempt? How do you know when it's appropriate time to ask for a call? All these questions will come into your mind. Now, the answer to this is, as long as you have established some amount of rapport with the prospect, they are fair game to attempt to book a call. The amount of rapport that you have built and the level of which you think they are an ideal client, both will dictate whether to book a triage call or a strategy session. Because unlike phone or in-person conversation, DM conversations are not linear. They will fall apart. One side will not reply. One side will take time to follow up. Okay, so you don't have to limit your set attempts to new connections with whom the conversations hasn't fallen off. Anyone with whom you have previously built rapport is a candidate for the set attempt, which means that the longer you implement this daily client attraction process, the larger your pool of prospects for the booking call will grow. As simple as that. Okay, so it's simple. When to book the triage call and when to book the strategy session. If you built a rapport, then attempt to book a call. Now, if you built a bit of a rapport and if you're unsure if they are your ideal client, then you can book a triage call first. Okay, and when you are built enough rapport, ample amount of rapport, and you are 100% sure they are your ideal client, they are the perfect fit, you are going to help them, they need your help, then you can directly book the strategy session. Remember these things. So now let's talk about the prioritization, which leads you should prioritize. As simple as that, you should prioritize hot leads first, then warm leads, then the cold, or skip the cold. Okay, so prioritize these prospects first. First one is the hot ones. Focus on booking strategization with the prospects who commented on your acquisition post or your promotion post or your offer post. Okay, or start with those who comment using the keyword CTS that you are going to post in below your content. These are the people, these are your hot leads. So focus there. Try to make a set attempt with these people first. Then you can jump to the warm set attempt where you are following up with people you have already started a conversation with and they have ghosted you. These are the people. These are the warm people. You can reactivate those people you had a call with earlier. Check your Calendly application, typically 1 or 2 weeks after the call, unless a person mentioned to contact him or her in the next date. Okay, some people will book a call and they will say you that I'll talk to you in the next week or the next month on this days. These are the people, these are your warm leads. Focus there first. Okay, reactivate people you had a messenger conversation with in the past and you haven't replied in a long time. The prospects who comment or react on your engagement sequence post. The prospect who have added you as a friend or accepted your friend request. These prioritization you can give. Focus on the hot leads first, then the warm leads first. Right? Now the best part is the power hour strategy. This is the concrete, predictable and repeatable way to consistently book more and more calls. Okay? Now you understand what are the set attempts, how to make them, what kind of message to send to book a triage call or to book a strategy call. Now there is a way to make it efficient to book more calls, and that is the power hour strategy. So now you know what set attempts are, how to successfully make them, and when it's appropriate time to make one. Now I'm going to teach you the concrete, repeatable process for consistently booking those calls. The best way to book calls regularly is by implementing this power hour strategy. Now, this is a 60 to 90 minutes session where your sole focus is reaching out to schedule call with those prospects. Simple 60 minutes of focusing entirely on making set attempts. Whether you can do it daily, twice a week, thrice a week, or once a week, doesn't matter. It depends on the number of prospects you have. Okay? Because very few of the DM conversations will immediately result in a booked triage call or a strategy session. But that doesn't mean that your rapport building effort was a complete waste. In fact, these situations will contribute themselves perfectly to the power hour strategy because many of these will be a prime candidate for making a set attempt. Let's see how to implement this power hour strategy. So, how to implement this power strategy? There are simple 3 steps. Number 1, set your target number of calls, set attempts, and time. How many calls you want to book? How many sets attempts you need to do? How many time you need to give to that? Step number 2, build your power hour list of prospects you want to book a call with. You have to make a list of the prospects that you had an enough rapport, you are having conversation, they are engaging with you. All the warm people and all the hot people, you have to make a list. And the third step is execute the power hour with each prospect on your list. As simple as that. Okay. So let's see these steps one by one. Okay. So number 1 is set your target numbers. First, the number of calls. Identify how many calls you want to book. Now remember that the number of strategy sessions you conduct is directly correlated with how many sales you make. Okay, the more sales call you book, the more sales you will have, right? So if you know that you can turn 20% of your strategy sessions into a sale, then you need to conduct 5 strategy sessions to make 1 sale, right? As simple as that. So when you're just getting started, aim for 5 strategy sessions per week. That is a good place to begin, right? You need to book 5 strategy sessions in 1 week. Okay. Then the number of set attempts. Identify how many successful set attempts you need to hit that target. The target of 5 strategy session in 1 week. Okay. Because not every set attempt results in a booked strategy session, which is why we treat these as 2 separate metrics. How successful your set attempts are depends on a variety of factors. The level of rapport you have built with a prospect, whether enough or a bit of rapport. How intensely a prospect needs the problem to be solved and how willing they are to act now, right? So let's assume a 20% conversion rate from a set attempts to a booked strategy session, which means that 1 in a 5 set attempts will result in a strategy session. If you want to book 5 strategy sessions per week, you must make 25 set attempts, right? So if you make 25 set attempts, then you will book 5 calls, then you will make 1 sale according to the 20% conversion rate, right? The third thing you need to do is the number of time. Identify or decide how long you are going to implement this power hour. For 30 minutes, for 1 hour, for 60 minutes, for 90 minutes. How long you are going to dedicate your attention and focus on these set attempts. Now, if this concept is new to you, then I recommend starting small with 60 minutes. The length of your power hour list should reflect the number of set attempts you are going to make. So if you're going to make 25 set attempts, it needs to have at least 25 prospect on the list, right? The reason you identify a preset time limit here is to be hyper focused on a specific task, which will help you to complete the task in the shorter amount of time. This means a distraction-free zone. Turn off your phone, turn off your computer notifications, find a quiet place, eliminate all the distractions. Because during a power hour, you have an ultra-specific task and there is no room for scrolling mindlessly to the endless Instagram reels or Facebook, responding to other messages, responding to the comment sections. Just focus on that 60 minutes of just making set attempts, just sending them the messages to book a call, whether it's a triage call or a sales call, right? After setting your target numbers, the second step is to build your power hour list. Now you have to identify who you're going to attempt to book a call with before sitting down for your power hour. This is your power hour list, okay? When you build a list of set attempts before you get started with your power hour strategy, you're significantly more efficient. You are able to get your head in the game and knock each set attempt one right after the other, rather than making one set attempt, figure out who is the next prospect and then make the another. So it's better to have a list first. This will build momentum and puts you in a state of flow where every second of the power hour is spent taking massive action on no second or a minute is wasted. Okay, so the moral of the story is build your power hour list before you implement the power hour. Okay, how to build your power hour list, where to source the names or where to source the leads so that you can fill it with the warmest and most hottest ideal prospect in your network. So the power hour works when you prioritize the hottest and the warmest relationships. Because the reason we look here that these are the prospects with whom you have already built some level of rapport and you likely have an idea of whether they are your ideal client or not. Plus you are regularly adding new friends and are starting conversations with them. That's the perfect place to look for. Scroll through your DMs and identify people you have previously talked with, whom you want to book a call with, all those things. Specific hint is you can mark these conversations as unread so that are easier to find when you go back and make a set attempt with them, right? Then there are several other places to source your prospects for the power hour list. The previous triage call you had with people who weren't good fit at that time, you can add them into your list. People who previously indicated interest in working with you, but for whatever reason, they did not book a strategy session with you. Those are the people who you have engaged with in the comment section to the point that you feel that you are established a fair amount of rapport with them without having a DM conversations. Those are the people you can apply for the set attempts. People on your email list, if you have one email list with whom you are not had a direct one-on-one conversations in a while, or your past clients who are no longer working with you, but who might be a good fit for your recently revamped offer or a new program or a low ticket offer or a high ticket offer, right? So these are the places where you can source your prospect and add them into your power hour list. Prioritize the hottest lead first, then the warmest least first. Who you have built a rapport with, who you are sure that they are your ideal client or not. These aspects consider to build your power hour list. So make sure you build a power hour list first. Then the third step is to implement. Just execute the power hour list. Set your timer for 60 minutes. Sit down at your computer and follow this simple process for each person on your power hour list. Number 1, pull up that person conversations in your DMs. Open the messenger screen, open the DM screen. Pull up that person on the conversation in the DMs or messenger. Write a personalized set attempt message. The examples that we've seen. Just hit send and repeat. Go to the next person, send a personalized set attempt. Go to the third person, send a personalized set attempt on that list. Right? It is perhaps the simplest process to effectively book calls with your prospect. And the only requirement for it to be successful is two things: a strong power hour list with the warms and the hottest leads, and the focus to sit down and message each one of them. Simple as that. You need just two things: a list of warm leads and hot leads, and to focus to sit for 60 minutes each day or thrice a week and just send messages to each one of them. And once you complete your first power hour, you'll have a better idea of how often you will need to implement the power hour strategy to consistently book calls. For example, if after performing several power hours, you know that you can sit down for 60 minutes and book 5 strategy sessions, and you only need 5 strategy sessions each week, then you can do just 1 power hour each week. Okay, on the other hand, if you need 15 strategy sessions each week, then you would do 3 power hours each week. As simple as that, right? So I assume you understand the power hour strategy, the set attempts, right? Set attempts, it is just an attempt to book a call. It is just an attempt that we make to book a call with your prospect. Simple as that. Then you do prioritization, hot leads, warm leads, and cold leads. Focus on hot leads and warm leads. The people who came to you and shown interest in your offers, the people who you have been engaging with, the people who you have been having conversation with in the DMs, in the messengers. You have built enough rapport. Just make a list of these people, just send them the message to book a call. The examples that we have seen, how to send without feeling salesy, without being spammy, right? And then make a list, then set your targeted numbers, how much calls you need to book on each week. Go to the goal tracker that you have set, right? The revenue tracker. The revenue is mentioned, how many calls you need to book on monthly basis, how many calls you need to book on weekly basis. All data is there. The number of calls, the number of time that you are going to sit and execute this power hour, and the number of sales you need. Okay, make a list of these hot and warm leads, then sit for 60 minutes and just make an attempt. Just send them the message. Just craft a personalized message to everyone and send each one of them. This is the set attempt, and this strategy works best. I spend only 1 hour every week just to send this message. For the rest of the weeks, I'm just building rapport, generating traffic, generating leads, adding them to the power hour list, and once a week for just 60 to 90 minutes, I'll send the messages, personalized messages to these people, the warm and the hot leads. And this is how I book calls for the next week. Around 9 to 10 calls I should book. Then I'll able to close 1 or 2 clients out of it, high ticket clients out of it. This is how this strategy worked for me, and it will work for you like all of my clients. Okay, so there is a power hour list that I've added here. Okay, so this is the power hour list, as you can see. Now you can either use the convo tracker that I've sent you in maybe 3rd or 4th module, or you can directly use this. So just write down the date here, then the names here, okay, or the link to their Facebook profile. Then you can prioritize them, whether they are your hot, warm, cold lead, or you can skip if you are unaware of that. Okay, how much rapport you have built, a bit of rapport or good amount of rapport, or you need some more information to identify whether they are your ideal client or not. So you can mark them as your qualified ideal client or unqualified ideal client. Then which kind of attempt you want to make, then sit down and just send them the message. They book the call, then the triage call or a sales call you book, you can jump on. The strategy session is the sales call. Okay, so sales call link you have sent, then mark that or taken or booked the call. If they showed up, showed interest, you need to follow up, they were aggressive or they come up with an objection, you can do this. Okay, or you can simply just follow up with them, right? So either you can use this or build your own list, or build your own list, just a simple list, whether you mention to make a hot attempt to book a strategy call or a triage call or a warm set attempt, right? So you can use this. This is beneficial. So you only write down here the names, you only add the people here who have engaging with you, not the cold leads, not all of your friend list, not all of your leads. The high quality leads you can add here and just make a set attempt on that hour, right? Again, there is a sheet all the examples that we have seen inside these slides, we have already added a document which I'll be adding at the end of this module, where you can see everything is mentioned here about the high impact appointment setting framework. The diagram is here. The triage way that we have seen till now is here, and the messenger way that we are going to see in the next lesson, that will be here. Whatever we have covered, the 4-step DM mastery, invitation to the triage call and invitation to the strategy call, the set attempts that we have seen in the lesson, all the examples are given here. Okay, so the 4-step mastery, step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, all the scripts and all the examples templates are given here, so you can use it. So everything is here. Until now, what we have seen, making set attempts, cold, warm, hot set attempts are there when you can do this. So when you can convert the warm lead to a book a triage call, what kind of a message, the examples are given. You can use this one or you can create your own. When you're going to make turn the leads from hot to a triage call, then what kind of message you can send. There is a script. When they book a call with you, what messages you can send to nurture them. All the things are here. Okay. Then when you want to convert your warm leads to directly sales call or strategy call, all the scripts are given here. Hot to strategy call, all the scripts are given here. What you need to do when you book and confirm a strategy call, all the things are given here. You can follow this script. Okay. Then we are going to jump into the next module, which is all about the messenger mastery. How to book calls using just the messenger, just the DMs. That is an old way I have already talked about, but we let going to see, because not all of the clients, all of the leads are not going to jump on a call with you if you have not built that kind of a rapport or enough rapport. So you can either book the triage call and the strategy session, which is an efficient way, effective way, and the fast way to book calls. But as a coach also, or a client also, you are also might not be aligned with that kind of process of booking 2 calls. Okay. If you are an introvert kind of a person, then you can follow this messenger mastery, where you are just DMing them, engaging with the DMs, the triage process, all those process you are doing in the DMs. Okay. The typical messenger script, we are going to see the messenger way, the messenger mastery. That is how to invite them on the DMs. That is the exact messenger mastery we are going to see in the next lesson. Okay. So that was it. It is a pretty long lesson, and I hope you understand about the set attempts. It will save your time. It is efficient process to book a triage call first, and then on the strategy session, it will hardly take 15 minutes to complete a triage call, and 30 to 60 minutes to do a sales call. So it's a successful process, right? So you have seen everything right now, from making set attempts and all those things. In the next lesson, we are going to jump on the triage call, how to book the sales call using the triage call. Now you have made an attempt either to book a sales call or either to book a triage call first. Now in the next lesson, we are going to see how to carry out that triage call, how to nurture those audience, how to get the information, how to identify their ideal clients, and then jump onto the sales call where you enroll them, where you pitch your offer, right? So in the next lesson, we are going to see that. So with that said, I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.